out on the par 4 here, got myself another critical little 15-footer. And what's very interesting about putting is the tour players will spend hours and hours practicing their putting because they know if they can't putt well, they will not be competitive. And yet, most amateurs who hit at least 50% of their shots on the putting green fail to spend any time at all on that part of the game. How many times do you go to the driving range, smash a few drivers, and off to the first tee? So hopefully, these little putting mechanics will inspire you to spend more time on the putting green. We're going to take it from the very beginning. Obviously, first point of contact with the putter is going to be the grip. There are two key areas of getting the grip correct. The first is how you should position your hands on the club. And what I mean by that is, if I go into a totally neutral position where my hands are facing each other, palm to palm, that is the natural position for my arms to be. I don't want to have one arm rotated and one arm rotated in. That's going to make it very hard for me to control what happens to the putter face. The other thing is, there is a difference in how you hold the club, especially in your left hand. Clearly, for a long shot, I'm trying to use as much wrist as possible. I'm going to hold the putter much more in my fingers. For a putting stroke, I want to have no wrists whatsoever. So the putter sits much higher in the palm of my left hand. So left thumb down the grip, bring that in, right thumb down the grip, and that's your first point of contact. The second thing is, you really need to have your forearms parallel to that shaft. You don't want to have your forearms come in at this angle or at this angle, because that's going to create huge manipulations in the path during the stroke. So grip first, forearms parallel to that shaft, and then keep those elbows into your side. You don't want to have your elbows out. There's no way I can connect my torso and my arms if they're not connected to start with, so elbows in. Those are your putting basics. The rest of it really is alignment. Alignment is clearly visual, and alignment is the hardest part of putting. So you need to be able to really find the eye position that allows you the best look at the target line, and that really is to have your eyes right on top of that target line. You don't want to have your head twisted one way or the other. You don't want to be standing too far away from the ball or too close, because that's going to distort your view of the target line to the hole. The next part is really, what's the engine for putting? Where does the club head speed come from? We don't want to be too handsy, because under pressure that's going to be very unreliable. You don't want to be too armsy and have too much forearm rotation, because again, that's going to be so hard to repeat. I think the best engine is really to get your arms in and to get your torso and shoulders to be the engine of the stroke. So you're creating this one big pendulum movement where the shaft and my arms are always staying in the same relation no matter where it is in the stroke to how they started. You don't want to get to the finish and find that you've changed something. So the putting mechanics aren't particularly difficult, but they are vital for consistency over time. Rolling the ball requires quite a few different things to happen at impact. I've got to have the same loft, I've got to hit the ball with a square face, and I want that shaft to return to a positive position. So from this view here, I see lots of amateurs push those hands forward, almost like trying to guide it. But what happens is you take all the loft away and the putter squeezes the ball into the green and it bounces all over the place. So never changing those wrist angles. At the finish, you can hold the finish, return it back to address, nothing should have changed. So to go through those mechanics again, hands on in a neutral position, forearms parallel to that shaft, elbows into my side, nice and still with my eyes, and let my torso take me through. Those are the basic mechanics. Those are the things you need to work on to make your putting stroke more reliable, and I hope they'll help you get your handicap down.